Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and this is, as you may already guess, Formula Sundays Elite Season 6 round, I believe 8 or 7, one of the two, again I don't really remember, I think it's 8. And as you can see, we are in Abu Dhabi for not the season finale, because there's still quite a few rounds left to go, but it's the final race of the 2020 year, the final league race I had in this year. Coming into this weekend, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I had only done 5 laps, a grand total of 5 laps in time trial, and that was my practice. So usually I do race runs and then I'm clueless where I am pace wise, but into this race I literally only had done 5 laps in time trial and that was it. So for real, I was clueless where I was, but talking to some of my friends or some of my rivals in here, my time trial pace, the 5 laps that I did were apparently decent, as we're now going on board our best lap in qualifying. Turn 1, we could have probably accelerated out of the corner a little bit earlier, but that's fine. This section is a bit tricky for me, as you know, I'm on a pad and you need to be really smooth through those 2 corners, and I'm anything but smooth into that section. In the first section, or the first plate I should say, we were 300ths down on provisional pole time. We lost some time in the hairpin, but we got a really decent exit. And can I just point out, we're 3rd provisionally right now, going on to our final lap. So the lack of practice and the lack of knowledge doesn't seem to hamper us, as we had a decent bank lap, I guess, that we're now using to be in P3 provisionally right now, as we're now on the 2nd DRS straight, and just trying to get a good final run in, as we are nearly 2/10 up on our time, and we are up on Kurtz's provisional pole time. So despite not having too much practice, it's actually looking decent for us, as now we're in the 3rd final section. And as I thought going into this final wiggly bit, I didn't have too much time on table, but you can see the delta is just going up and up and up, and I don't know where or how did I lose so much time, but we gained a good part of 4/10 in the final section, as we're now suddenly in the final corner. We are 6/10 up on our time, as Harishun is going for the provisional pole, and we take the provisional pole off Harishun with a 33.4, which is already a 10th above our best qualifying time. And now we're on board Meshik, or well, his nickname in here is Loser, but it is Meshik in the AlphaTauri, the only one who could take pole off of us, and he doesn't. Which means that, as you're going to see the provisional, not the provisional, the official qualifying results, we are on pole position for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Totally unexpected for me. As I said, I only did 5 laps of time trial. My best time trial time was a 33.5. So that was a shock for me. Obviously, Rage Quit and Beryl, the 2 really good, quick guys, didn't get a lap in, so we probably should have been 3rd or something like that, but that's still decent by my books, and this is our first pole position in this league. But now we have the 5 red lights coming in front of your eyes. They're on and they're out. Lights out and away we go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 28 laps ahead of us, and we got a decent start for once. We have Kurtzer in the Ferrari, who got a decent start of his own, but as you can see now, there's someone who spun off in the background, and they DNF'd out of the race, exiting the first corner, and that triggers the virtual safety car, which only cements our place in the lead of the race on this first lap, which is all we had to do. We didn't concede a position, we didn't get damaged, and now the virtual safety car is ending. We have to be careful in the restart, because obviously we don't want to speed and pick up a try for a penalty. That would be the end of our race, but that's fine. We wanted to go for the overtake mode, but again we clicked on the race engineer button instead. That's annoying, I know, as we're now going to the 2nd sector splitter. We are 8/10 ahead of Meshik, who is in 2nd place, into this 3rd sector now, the sector that I hate the most around this track. I'm not a fan of this track, I'm not gonna lie, and the 3rd sector is what I hate the most, if I'm completely honest with you. But lap 1, I've done what I wanted to do, and that's, ever since I saw that I'm pole, I wanted to lead the first lap, and that's, unless we're going to make a really stupid error right here, which I don't think we are going to lead the first lap of this race, as now we're exiting the final corner. We go across the line and we are first at the end of lap 1, which honestly, coming into this race, I didn't expect to be anywhere near the lead, but there was a crash between the final 2 corners, and we have a safety car in this race, so that cements our place in the lead of the race for another like 2 or 3 laps, which is perfect. Lap 3, end of lap 3, and the safety car only now is going to notify us that we're going to go racing at the end of this lap, which came as a bit of a surprise to all of us. My tires were not really heated up properly. I couldn't think of the good race restart strategy, so we're just trying to take a wider line into the final corner, hope for the best, and just go again. And we keep the lead as we now go for the first corner. We run wide a little bit as our tires are still not in the temperature. And this corner with cold tires, these 2 corners are really, really tricky. As you maybe even heard, we had to lift through that corner to keep the car, as there's yellow flags behind us. I think it's Kurtz, unfortunately. No, it's Dennis, other Ferrari, who spun around and actually DNF'd out of this race. We have Meshik and Harrison, the 2 Alpha Tigers, right behind us, but we are still in the lead of this race, which is absolutely amazing for me. As now we are at the end of lap 5. Harrison has already picked up a 3-second penalty, which is not ideal for him. You want to avoid the penalties as much as you possibly could. And yeah, lap 6 we are still leading the way ahead of Meshik and Harrison. Inferno Lewis is 4th on medium tyres, and Fabian is 5th. The quick cars like Rage Squid, Dong, they're still behind us in traffic. Beryl got crashed out, so that was unfortunate for him. But now, on lap 6, we are still trying to defend our position ahead of this train of cars. I think there's like the top 4 in the train behind me, so I'm sure we are as annoying to them as, you know, as you'd expect, really. As yeah, everything is going to plan as it stands, and I'm just chilling in the lead. I didn't expect it to end up in here, but I don't mind, I guess. As yeah, I did not expect to be anywhere near the lead. Lap 7 now, going into the chicane. The DRS is now enabled by the race controller. We have a pole run through the chicane, and now Meshik is all up on our gearbox, trying to get a move. We tried to get the best exit as we possibly could out of the hairpin turn 6, but as you can probably think, with DRS we are basically a sitting duck. We are not giving this one up as easily as it may be like. He's diving it down the inside into this chicane. We are trying to hang it there, and we get damage from the contact. So we have to pit at the end of this lap. I had no idea what the pit strategy is going to be. The race engineer is telling me to do a 2-stop, but I don't really think that 2-stop is the way to go. Like in league racing, you always want to go for the least amount of stops. And I do believe that you could maybe go to end on hearts, as we're now pulling into the pits at the end of lap 7. We have damage, don't forget that. We are slowing it down for the pit entry. And into the pits we go. We change the front wing, we get the hard tyres on, and we are going now to the end of this race on this set of tyres. Kurtz posted a fast lap of the race, and this is actually going to be really close with the Ferrari in the pit exit. And as I said in the HLF1 Sunweb video, I keep ending up on the same piece of tarmac with a Ferrari driver. In Formula Sundays it's Kurtz, and he is again, and in HLF1 it's Miliano, and we actually joked about it, me and Kurtza, before this race in the Challenger tier stream, that I don't know what it is, but the 2 of us keep ending up on the same piece of tarmac. And we were like, hey, if one of our races is going badly and the other one is like not doing too well either, maybe we should just slow down and, you know, have a show for ourselves. But Kurtza, as we slightly even hit him into the chicane, which is not ideal, but no damage done, and no, the both of us. But yeah, we just thought if we both of us have a bad race, we could maybe fight each other. But we have to run, and I actually did not intend to go for the move down the side in air, but because I wasn't really focused fully on the straight, I was dealing with the MFD, I sort of missed my braking point, my normal braking point, so I had to go for the dive to avoid killing him. But that worked out for us. Now lap 11, and Inferno Lewis is in the pits and exiting the pits as a fact. And interestingly enough, he's on another set of mediums. He started the mediums, so I don't know. This indicates that there are people maybe going for 2-stop, which could bring us back into this race. We are not going to pit again, but there's a good chance that a lot of people around us are thinking about the 2-stop, which, yeah, that might be a really good thing for us. It's now lap 15. Fabian Gaming and Inferno Lewis are having a battle of their own. Just behind us into the first corner. I think Lewis is actually trying to do a move, and he spins Fabian around. Well done. I mean, it was a class act from Lewis. He actually slowed down and let Fabian to get through again, so fair enough. But for us, it now means that we have no pressure behind us, and the former race leaders of Nuve and Rage Quit are now in the pits, which means that we are, as it stands, net P2. Duncanu, who pit at the end of lap 1, is in the lead, and he's also trying to get those hot tires to the end of the race. We have a 3-second penalty, unfortunately, and now we are P2 in this race, and this is on net P2. Rage Quit is 12 seconds behind us, but he's going to come. He's going to appear at the back of us really soon. You don't even believe how quickly he's going to be at the back of us. Lap 20 now, and Dunk is so slow on his really worn tires of hard. Basically, the pace Dunk is doing now is going to be us on the final lap of this race, as we're going to now overtake. We fly past the Red Bull of Duncanu easily, and we take, and I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but we took the provisional and the net lead of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with 8 laps to go. But we are not home and dry yet, because the likes of like Rage Quit, Meshik, those two primarily really, are going to be at the back of us sooner rather than later. Lap 23, and Rage Quit is already 3.3 seconds behind us. Duncanu is trying to do his best to keep ahead of Rage Quit, but as you could see there, Rage Quit is now unleashed to fight us down, but Rage Quit has more penalties than we do. So what we're thinking now is, Rage Quit, as you can see, has 9 seconds of penalties. We have 3. So even though Rage Quit is now attacking us into turn 1, we are keeping our position ahead of him. We want to stay in front of Rage Quit as much as possible and as long as possible, as he's doing his damn best to get past us. If we can stay in front of him and annoy him as much as we can, we are taking time away from him that he could use to pull away from us, as we have such a poor run in the head, and he actually runs at the back of us. No damage done, but the longer we stay in front of Rage Quit, the less time he has to run away once he inevitably overtakes us. So all we have to do is, once he overtakes us, we need to stay within 6 seconds of him. Meshik is now unleashed, and he's going to win this race. There's no stopping him unless he gets a time penalty. But we are fighting for second with Rage Quit. You can see Meshik is gaining and he doesn't have any penalties, so there's that. Into these corners, my tires are basically dead now. We make a mistake here, we have to catch the car, and Rage Quit is alongside us. We don't want to lose any more time than we absolutely necessarily have to, so we're just going to let him go. We're going to take his DRS in the next 2 straights, and then we're going to let him go. And we're going to basically let him do his best to get a 6-second gap in the remaining 2 laps of this race, 2 and a bit laps to be fair. You can see Meshik is already within 3 seconds of us. We are not going to win this race. That is confirmed. But we can still get second off of Rage Quit if we stay within 6 seconds of him come the end of the race. And there's only 2 and a bit laps to go. We are using his DRS for these 2 straights, but that's the last we're going to see Rage Quit really. Now, after this straight, it's up to Rage Quit to pull 6 seconds on us. And considering what state the tires are in, that is viable. As now going on to the final lap, we have a car, Kurtza, who's crashed in the final corner. We only just avoid him. You can see Meshik is within a second of us, and Rage Quit already has 4.2 seconds on us, so he got around 4 seconds on lap 27, as we're now going to stay on board the final lap. The gap now into the first sector split is 4.4 seconds. He needs 1.6 around the second and third sector to get P2 off of us. Meshik is behind us, but he's not close enough to make a move. We're using the loss of ERS and fuel that we have to be as fast as we can on the straights, to lose the least amount of time as we can on the straights. Meshik basically knows he's got the win, and he's not really close enough to take it away from us. The only way Meshik can lose this win is if he gets a penalty and stays behind us. That's the only way he can bottle a win. But now, on the second DRS straight, the gap to Rage Quit is 4.7 seconds, so it's not gone up that much, but it's the third sector Rage Quit will gain the most time, and he's already 5.2. He got 4 tenths through that chicane alone. So this is not done yet, and this is going to be so close with Rage Quit for P2. As now our tires are basically dead, but we have to push, and do our best to maybe, just maybe, get the P2. We are on the podium, that is for sure, but we are fighting for second. The gap is 5.9 seconds going to the final corner, and honestly, you wouldn't be able to tell, and we get P2 in this race. Meshik wins the race, we take second, and it's 600 between me and Rage Quit, and honestly, I take it, considering I only did 5 laps of practice in time trial for this race. I had no clue where my pace was at, and I honestly thought I'm going to be at the back of the field, because this league, everyone is so quick in here. Well, for me anyway. And yeah, I had no expectations for this race, and certainly I did not expect to be on the podium or anywhere near it, but here you are, and you're going to see the official race results. Meshik takes the win ahead of us, and Rage Quit is third, Duncan is fourth, and Noof is fifth. Kurtzer, unfortunately, crashed out in the final corner, but he does get the final point in this race. And honestly, even though we got pole and we couldn't convert the pole to a win, I'm happy to get a podium in this league and to get a P2. And this is the second consecutive podium for the team, Renault as well, because obviously Crew, who unfortunately couldn't attend this race, yeah, second consecutive podium for the team, I would take it. But this is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy these kind of videos. This is the final video from me in this year, so once again, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is from me, and goodbye.